I have a little secret to tell you. The best companies in the world who really sell a lot of product use a technique to create their products and their marketing messages that you can create and get exceptional results. That technique is called using user personas, or personas in general that relate to influencers and decision makers. Hi, my name is Ray Standall, and I help entrepreneurs and business owners build, market, and sell amazing products and services that make a real difference. If you've been following this video series, you've seen that in video 1 we talked about the criteria to establish and to really set a target market for yourself. We've talked about demographics in video 2. We've talked about psychographics in video 3. And now we're going to talk about user personas. The best companies in the world use user personas because they have already done the homework that I'm suggesting that you do to really understand the target market. And a user persona, or a persona in general, is a fictional character that you create that embodies who the user is for your product or service, or who the influencer is in making a decision for your product or service, or ultimately the person who signs on the dotted line and has the authority to spend the money for your product or service. So let's dive into this a little bit more, and let me see if I can give you an example that would help really cement this concept. So let's take, for example, a hospital. I recently worked with a hospital, and they were evaluating using an iPad type device or a tablet for all of their doctors in the whole hospital to be able to make it easy to take a look at patient records and get the information that they need wherever they are wirelessly throughout the hospital. So let's first identify who the users are. Well, it's pretty straightforward. It's the doctors, right? Next, let's analyze who the influencer would be on the platform that would be used. Well, there are many influencers, but for sake of simplicity, let's say that it is the network manager and the application manager for some of the critical applications that doctors use. Now, who would be the decision maker? Well, the decision maker might be the CIO of the company or of the hospital. So we have identified that there's 3 different levels: users, influencers, and decision makers. Now, once you go through and you do your analysis of the demographics and the psychographics, and you go through the criteria of evaluating your marketplace, you create a persona, which is a fictional character that represents each one of these different roles: user, influencer, decision maker. So you might say something like, well, the user. Let's say the user is John Smith, and John Smith is a medical doctor who is 45 years old, travels to work in about 35 minutes from home. This doctor is someone who is comfortable with technology, enjoys using iPad-type devices, and is looking forward to being able to access information quicker, faster, and easier. They are somebody who is tired of using paperwork. So you see, I've pulled together a picture of John Smith, the doctor. Now I might look at Bob Jones. Let's get real creative on the names. Let's say this is the influencer or the network manager. So we can say that Bob Jones is the network manager for this hospital, and he is primarily concerned with the security of the platform, the reliability, the performance of that platform. He's also concerned with the cost, and he wants to make sure that it's easy to use and easy to support. These are the things that are most important to this particular influencer. And finally, we might have the decision maker. Let's say the decision maker's name is Wendy. Wendy might say that her character sketch might be Wendy is the CIO of this hospital. She's been with this hospital for 15 years. Her main concerns have to do with patient security, patient response time, and overall being able to increase the utility of the operating rooms. Okay, let's say that's what her character makeup is. So as you have these different characters, these fictional characters that you've created, and I'm just giving you a very high level an example, you can use these characters in the process of building products, but also in the process of marketing products. So you start to think to yourself, how is the user going to respond to my marketing? How is the influencer going to respond to my marketing? And how is the decision maker going to respond to my marketing? Because you see, each one of these roles has a different trigger point, a different hot button, and you want to make sure that you are in resonance. Remember, we talked about that? You have to be in resonance with your target market. And within your target market, you have to be in resonance with who the users are, the influencers, and the buyers, the decision makers. So what I want you to do is to think about how you sell your product and services, who are the users, the influencers, and the decision makers, and create a sketch based on the psychographic ideas that we talked about and the demographic ideas, and include anything else that you think would be relevant to creating this fictional character. And then what you want to do is use these characters in the process of further developing your products and services, as well as the marketing to reach the right people that you want to reach. What'd you think of this? This is a pretty important idea, and I tell you, it's one of the hidden secrets, the behind the curtain techniques that some of the best companies in the world use to create products and services that you absolutely go goo-goo over. Like, for example, an iPhone. Trust me, they created personas to be able to do the things that they do because they understand their customer segment.